Just in terms of your day-to-day role as CEO, leading the club, what does that look like, and what are some of the biggest attributes you can bring into that role from your experience as a professional athlete? Because there's so many things on the pitch that people might not necessarily look at first and foremost, whether it's resilience, preparation, grit, determination. All those things can be transferred to any office environment, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think the honesty, I guess the brutal honesty of being a professional athlete and how you get held accountable every day. And I guess in jobs what don't require, I guess, public pressure and public attention and judgment day to day, that can be quite difficult for some people to handle. So I guess we can bring the values over of being held accountable with it not being personal, if that makes sense. So having day-to-day meetings with staff, with players, but understanding my role as a previous player, now as CEO, is you don't cross that line between trying to tell the coaches how to coach, trying to tell the general manager how to general manage, but you can offer your opinion and support, but if it's done with an honest and transparent way, that certainly goes a long way. I think as a player, when I've played for any club, I've never liked when the back office or boardroom staff cross that line and getting involved in the rugby side, because ultimately I'm a player, right, and I kind of want to be held accountable by my coaches because that's their environment. So I said to a couple of our coaches staff, Mike and Dave, a couple of days ago, that they wanted me to get involved and speak about video and analysis, and I just said it's not my area. As much as I can have opinion on it, I think it'd be wrong for me to start delivering things out of my area, right? So I think the brutal honesty and the brutality of it can be quite daunting for people who've not been in that environment before. But I just think it's the best way of delivering stuff. It's the best way of being honest and transparent and holding you accountable. And again, it's not personal. Once that conversation is done, we move on and on to the next job, I guess. And that's what I guess rugby league has always been about, is that it's next job mentality of that. If someone's injured or you make a mistake in a game, you've got to move on, right? You've got to move on quickly, and having that mental toughness to do that. I think in regards to commercial aspect, from my point of view, I've kind of been involved with a lot of the brands now, being involved in women's football, dealing with Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour. There's a lot of brands out there who have not been exposed to rugby league. So using, I guess, your biggest power is your phone book, right, isn't it? And who you know and what you know as well. So I think the experience there from being involved in women's sport so closely, giving a diverse look and view, 360 view of the club, and making sure we kept hold of the women's team was integral for us, because we want to make sure that we're giving women an opportunity in sport. And that was a real big thing for me. When we got asked the question, it was a 1 second answer that we want to keep the women's team and want to grow that area, definitely. And for someone in women's sport, I've seen how commercially viable it can be as well. People want to be involved with women's sports and women's pathways, so that was integral for us. But I guess I wouldn't have known that unless I wasn't involved in women's sports. So there's definitely a benefit for me to be involved, especially throughout my business. But back to my first probably conversation, even with you, that treating people is the right thing to do, and treating people better, having relationships with people, and treating people how you want to be treated is the first and foremost, and the key to every successful organisation, top to bottom. Spending half an hour with Jed in there and just wants to have a people first mentality within his business, and it's I guess it's no secret why it's so successful. So it's something that I want to, I guess, mould our philosophy on and our values, and seeing how the best people do it and copying them, really. So I don't know everything. I am learning. I will make mistakes, but it won't be through the lack of trying and lack of education that I'm trying to obtain, which is really important for me. So I think the path is pretty clear for me in regards what makes a successful business and organisation. Right now, it's for me to execute.
Final one, you kind of touched on it then, but given the rollercoaster nature of the past 12 months, you transitioning into a new role, leaving your old career, what are some of the biggest things that you've learned about yourself just as a person, and have you surprised yourself at all? You've been through a lot anyway. Like last time we spoke, you had the Toronto experience. You've had a lot of lows that you've come back from, which is what life is all about, isn't it? It's learning from the times where maybe you felt your lowest, and there's a lot of lessons in that.
Yeah, it was something that it's really funny. I yesterday, I always like to have a bit of a book, what I write things down on and what I kind of learn and what I'm trying to, I guess, live by. But I always feel like I'm really open, and I guess open to learning and open to new philosophies and saying. And our general manager, I know she won't mind me saying, but she said something yesterday. What I wrote down, it was your day's never as bad as your worst day. And I thought it just resonated really quickly that there's some opportunities what you get given in life, and no matter how, I guess, stressed or how filled the job can become, it's never as bad as your worst day. And I thought it's something what resonated with me really, really quickly. Because if everyone, I guess, relates back to their worst day, it's never as bad as that, is it? And that's something what I really want to learn quickly, that this job comes with a lot of challenges, but I'm in a very privileged position. There's a lot of people who would want to step into my shoes and do this job, who are, let's be honest, a lot more qualified than me. I'll have a lot more experience than me, so I'm really, I guess, privileged and honoured to be in this position, and understand that I'm leading an organisation which is filled with an unbelievable fan base who are so fanatical and so passionate. And I've always said before that them Salford people are my people, so there's an element I do not want to let them down. So I need to be good. I want to be good, and understanding how, I guess, diligent you have to be to, as a CEO, that everything underneath you is accountable to you, and almost everything what goes out there is a reflection of you, right? And that's why I'm so particular on treating people right, having good relationships with people, making sure we portray ourselves in the best light. In regards bouncing back from adversity, it's never as big in anyone else's head than your own. You always think it's such a massive issue, but if you speak to someone 2 miles down the street, they won't know anything about it. And that's what I've learned in my career. There's not many people who know everything about what's going on in your head. So realising it's not as big issue as you think it is, and keep moving on. And the amount of times I've been told no, even wanting this role or wanting something similar to this role, I was told no hundreds of times that you couldn't have the job. Likewise, as a professional athlete, you get told you're not good enough, you're too small, it's just such an array of negativity around this world where if you start focusing on that, you're never going to get anywhere, are you? So I think, likewise, when you started your media journey, you get told this, you get told that, and you just keep cracking on, don't you? And that's the big thing for me is if you'd accept the first time you get told no as the end of your career, no one would have ever got anywhere, would they? Everyone in their career, no matter how successful you are, would have been told you can't do it at some point. So the quicker you learn that and overcome that stigma, the better your career will be.